everybody, it's Jennifer Louden, and I'm here with my friend Laurie Wagner, and we're going to talk about writing Laurie Wagner style. Hey.
Hey.
So I got to meet Laurie. I don't know how I learned about your work, through probably Rachel Cole or Andrea Scher or other friends. And then when I was in the Bay Area in the fall, Laurie invited me to sit in on one of her classes, and I was just blown away by the container that you created and by what I wrote sitting in that 2
What you
hours.
wrote.
Yeah, we could just touch into this huge body of brilliance that is you, and give people a couple of things to feed their inner creative writer today. And the first thing I wanted to ask is, what is it that allows you as a writing teacher to unlock so much from your students?
You know, the first rule of writing, and the first thing I tell my students, no matter where, if I'm teaching online or live, is write as poorly as possible. So first of all, we're starting from this really, this flatbed truck. We're starting from a place of, let's just drop it. We're going to drop trying. We're going to drop trying to show up wonderfully. We're going to try to stop. We're going to try to drop calling ourselves writers.
Right.
And we're just going to be human beings who are, doing this humbling work of trying to communicate something. Trying to tell a story, just like when you sit down with your friend and you sit down and you have something to say, or you had a dream, or there's just something inside of you and you want to have your friend connect.
Right.
You use your heart, and you use your language, and you try to get it, try to communicate it. Well, that's what we're doing on paper. We're not trying to be writers. And of course, what's so beautiful is that when you drop all that attempt, you allow yourself to show up naturally. And when you show up naturally, whether you're natural on the page or in your life, you're more present and you're more connectable.
I love that. I just right there, what you just said is such a window for me. And I've been writing fiction again, and after, I pick it up and I drop it, and I pick it up and I drop it, because there's so much suffering around it for me. And a lot of the suffering is not being okay with the embarrassment of writing so badly. Like if anybody saw what I wrote, I would die.
Right. And I was just writing about this in a blog post this past week, which was one of the things that I've learned over so many years of writing, like 25 years of writing and teaching, is to learn to be comfortable being uncomfortable. Good. You keep going. And that's really what I teach and what I practice. And if I'm teaching anything to people, it's to just get comfortable, not being happy with what's happening.
Right.
And keeping going anyway, because it's like everything else. You're unhappy a moment, and it moves to satisfaction, and then it moves to unhappiness, and then it moves to joy. The page is no different.
Right. And
that's what we're really doing. So, the other thing that I do is I model this. So that means that when I'm working with students and everyone I work with, I'm writing along with them.
Right.
And I'm writing as poorly as possible. And I'm really sticking to what I teach, which is what is it to be, a little blind mouse in the forest. And all you can see is one little berry and then the next berry. You don't have this master plan for the berries, and then make pie. And then, you're just like this little mouse just following. And so what I'm really teaching people is to move with their intuition. They can only see this little berry, then that berry. Just follow the trail of berries. And you don't know where it's taking you, but you trust that it's your unconscious and your intuition taking you into a really rich place. That's your creative unconscious, and I trust that place.
And also, there's two things I want to point out there, everybody. One is that when that creative unconscious is the totality, of everything we've taken in and learned. And one of the things that I see get in my own way and people that I work with as writers is that research. I got to go research. So much more. And when you follow the berries, it gets to come out. And it can save you a lot of time. But the other thing that comes out for me is a question, actually, about writing as poorly as you can, is how do you find that line between writing as poorly as you can, but what if something beautiful starts to come? Do you push it away?
No, that's what you hope for. That's the jam. What you do is you thought you were going, north to Grandma's house in the forest, and then when I get to Grandma's house, And all of a sudden, right, you trip into this wonderland, Oz. Do you keep going to grandma's? No, you go straight into where you hold to, because that's the creative unconscious saying, it's over here. Right. You thought you were going over here, but you were going over here. So you follow it because you might have an idea of where you want to go, right? But something else is calling you, and that's really where it's happening. That's where the party is.
The party, and the berry party.
The berry party. And I was telling my students this morning in class is that you write for 15 minutes, and you may only at the very end, at the last paragraph, come to what you've been trying to say. Right. And you can't get there first.
No. And that gets you in trouble. That is so where I get into trouble, because I'm an impatient person.
Yes. Right.
Natalie Goldberg once said to me, one of the reasons why she thinks she's such a good teacher and a good writer and a good anything is because she's so slow.
Uh-huh. That's interesting.
I'm not slow. I like
that. I know you want it all to happen. Yeah. And to be able to sit down and to work on things and not to have them come so easily. It's so easy at that point to just make a lot of decisions about why it's not coming and who we aren't and blah, blah, blah.
That's so true. And that's so often why we give up.
Right.
Because it's not coming, because it's not good, because it's not getting there. And I think that the internet and the sort of these projections that we can have on people who it seems to be coming for can make it even harder when we're down in the trenches just writing badly or making film badly or making art badly or whatever your thing is if it's not writing everybody.
And the thing that I love is I love reading stories about those people who have made things. You meet these people in the magazine or when they finish their project. Right. So you see their accomplishment and you're like, wow, they must be really... But you didn't see the whole path to getting there.
I love those stories too. I love the doubt and the years in the desert, and I like the story of Twyla Tharp every morning at 5:30 putting on her leg warmers and going down to catch a cab to go to the gym. Right?
Yeah. So it's practice. What in our life, if we're good at anything, it's because we've just stayed the course and practiced. Right. And so that's what it really is. And so I'm just a big believer in process. I was writing recently that when I'm working on something, even if I'm working on something I know I'm going to either publish or send or share with a larger audience, I'm still knowing that I'm looking for a finished product, but I'm willing to stay into the unknown with it and just trust that my rudder will take me where I want to go. And I don't just do this because I'm a trusting person. I trust it because I've practiced it. So I really teach the practice of what it is to just channel into the forest and stay there and learn to know your way around. Because, sometimes the forest is dense and sometimes it breaks open. And there's the sun and suddenly you're like, I know where I am. This is fucking heaven. But it's fantastic.
So that brings me to my another question, maybe my last question is, one of the things that we're promising in our September weekend together is to help people go to this place, experience it with the help of us and the community, which can make it so much juicier and easier and safer, and prompts and some body stuff and some dance.
And music and great food and total great community.
But the other thing we're promising is to help people go from sometimes what can come out and then take it to the next step, which I find is difficult for a lot of people. They can get the juice going, but then they can't make the leap into something that they can send out to get published or really develop a following.
The spitting part is going to be the fun, feisty part. And the polishing part is going to be really just we're going to be reflecting for each other what touches us, what moved us in either the language someone used or what they were conveying. And we'll also be talking to each writer about what is it that they're trying to say here. What is at the creamy center of their offering. And then we're going to be helping to show them how that was reflected. Where did what they want to say actually get said? And where might we want a little more? And I think we're going to be able to give that reflection to people. They're going to be able to go back and polish it up and shine it and let go of some of the parts. And we're going to be able to take it into the next draft and reflect again. I think it's really powerful when people get to read aloud. So reading to each other, we'll be listening, we'll be not giving feedback in the kind of, I don't know the academic world, but we're going to be reflecting the beauty, and you know, you and I are going to be going around, and people will have contact with us, and they'll be able to talk to me at any point. We're under all these trees here in Alameda at my home. It's a natural spot. It's a very warm teaching spot, and there's a lot of spirit here. And I think when you walk through the gates, this happens to people all the time. They just feel a shift. You're in another world.
One of the things I want to touch on when we're doing the polished part is this idea of deepening and thickening that I learned from one of my writing teachers, Priscilla Long, who's here in Seattle. And this idea that we get into this thought of editing. We have wrong ideas about it that we learn from school. They're very innocent ideas, but they don't apply to help us actually create writing that connects. Choose the sensory details that bring alive that creamy center to connect with your reader. And how do you take that raw spitting place that is so important and then pick out the pieces that you want to deepen and thicken to connect your message?
Can't wait to hear you talk about thickening.
Yeah.
You know, you're going to teach me so much, and I love the combination of the two of us, as a matter of fact, and the dance we're going to do together.
Me too. I can't wait.
Everyone's talking about letting go of perfectionism, and we know this, and it's never something to forget. It's so important.
Yeah.
But I just also want to say that, you know, part of my work, and probably yours too, because you blog a lot, and I'm starting to blog a lot, and blogging weekly means that I have to find the beauty and the truth in what I'm doing, and then I have to be done with it and put it out and move on. So it's not about these perfect pieces that we're going to create. It's just as much about spitting and thickening and deepening and connecting and blessing it.
And letting it go.
And letting it go.
Is to write something, do the best I can to go into that, what I call writing naked place. And we'll talk about that on the weekend too. And then it's gone. It's done.
Right.
And I like, you know, a few little accolades to come back, or a few people to say, wow, that was great, or that really connected with me, or this is what I got. And then I have to really okay, it's not about me. It's not about me.
Because we want to be able to be makers, because we're going to have to come back to the blank page tomorrow.
Right.
And even if we've done a few great things that we loved and we shared them, we still have to come back to the blank page.
Yes. That's where the humbleness comes in, right?
Right. We want to learn how to be makers so we can keep coming back.
Yeah.
And it's not about like making these perfect things for the shelf. Hopefully, they're just all our little children.
Right.
And we do our best and we send them on.
Yes.
And then we make a new one. So that's really the spirit of what we're doing. We're going to be sharing and writing, spitting and polishing, dancing, eating, connecting.
Yes, deep connection and safety. Thank you so much. Every time I'm around you, read you, am in contact with you, I feel recharged with my creative life. And that is so precious. So I'm really grateful for that.
I'm so happy. Are you going to go work on that novel right now?
I am. You read my mind. I'm like, I didn't this morning because I wasn't feeling well, because I just came back from a trip and we went to a party last night. I'm like, I didn't do it first thing. And then there was all these other things to do. But you know what? I have a few minutes before my next appointment.
If you just have 5 minutes, don't even go back to where you were and try to make the connection. Just sit down and here's your line. The line is, what I really want to tell you is, just where you are in the book and whatever, and you can take it out later, but just locate yourself in a true place and just anchor it.
Just the way you use language is so exciting to me. Locate yourself in a true space, a true spot, and go. That's fabulous. Okay, I'm going to go do that.
Okay.
Bye, everybody. Thanks for listening.